Hello, and welcome back to Bible Wits Bible Corner. Sorry about the last couple of days. I got a little bit busy surprising my wife with an early anniversary gift. Anyway, we're going to be continuing in Acts chapter 27. I'm going to read verses 10 through 18, starting with the English Standard Version. Saying, Sirs, I perceive that the voyage will be with injury and much loss, not only of the cargo of the ship, but also of our lives. But the centurion paid no more attention to the pilot and to the owner of the ship than to what Paul said. And because the harbor was not suitable to spend the winter in, the majority decided to put out to sea from there on the chance that somehow they could reach Phoenix, a harbor of Crete facing both southwest and northwest, and spend the winter there. Now, when the south wind blew gently, supposing that they had obtained their purpose, they weighed anchor and sailed along Crete, close to the shore, but soon a tempestuous wind called the northeaster struck down from the land, and when the ship was caught and could not face the wind, we gave way to it and were driven along. Running under the lee of a small island called Cauda, we managed with difficulty to secure the ship's boat. After hoisting it up, they used supports to undergird the ship. Then, fearing that they would run aground on the Syrtis, they lowered the gear, and thus they were driven along. Since we were violently storm-tossed, they began the next day to jettison the cargo. New Century Version. Men, I can see there will be a lot of trouble on this trip. The ship, the cargo, and even our lives may be lost. But the captain and the owner of the ship did not agree with Paul, and the officer believed that the captain and the owner of the ship, or believed what the captain and the owner of the ship said. Since the harbor was not a good place for the ship to stay for the winter, most of the men decided that the ship should leave. They hoped we could go to Phoenix and stay there for the winter. Phoenix is a city on the island of Crete. Phoenix, a city on the island of Crete, had a harbor which faced southwest and northwest. When a good wind began to blow from the south, the men on the ship thought, "This is the wind we wanted, and now we have it." So they pulled up the anchor, and we sailed very close to the island of Crete. But then a very strong wind named the northeaster came from the island. The ship was caught in it and could not sail against it. So we stopped trying and let the wind carry us. When we went below the small island named Cauda, we were barely able to bring in the lifeboat. After the men took the lifeboat in, they tied ropes around the ship to hold it together. The men were afraid that the ship would hit the sandbanks of Syrtis, so they lowered the sail and let the wind carry the ship. The next day, the storm was blowing us so hard that the men threw out some of the cargo. Okay. Paul is warning the people, hey, there could be a chance that we need, or that this ship is not going to survive this journey. We might lose cargo. We might even lose some of the lives of the people here. So he was basically telling them, hey, let's just stay here for a while until these major storms pass, and then we can sail. Well, everyone, I say everyone, the captain of the ship, the owner of the ship, the officer that was guarding Paul, they all thought Paul didn't know what he was talking about. They thought they knew the seas better than Paul did. And so they decided to set sail. Well, they go along and they're facing winds that are too rough for them to fight against. And to me, what it sounds like is they're going the exact opposite direction that they wanted to go. They're letting the winds push them, which means they're getting pushed away from their ultimate goal. Now, how do we relate that to today? How often do we get warned about things in our Christian walks, our Christian lives? Hey, this might not be a good path to go. It might be good to sit down and think about this for a while before you just go headstrong on into it, kind of thing. How often do we get warnings like that? And when we get them, how often do we listen to them? Or do we act like the captain and the ship owner here and just go full force into it regardless? We can cause a shipwreck of our own Christian lives if we do such things. And I've said it before, missionary journeys. If you don't go on a missionary journey with the knowledge that you need, it's basically going to be a shipwreck. And the knowledge that you'll need is, okay, who are the missionaries that I'm working with? What is the culture? There's more to it than what I'm getting at, and I know that. But do these missionaries that I'm working with, do they have good relationships with these people over here just in case something happens? This, that, and the other. Are we preparing things in our Christian lives to avoid shipwrecks, or are we going headlong and getting into shipwrecks all the time? I hope you find encouragement in this, and I hope you have a wonderful, God-centered day. Bye.